There we go. Had a little bit of technical difficulty there. Sorry about that, everybody. But welcome to our monthly live stream. I got a couple of guests here with us. We're going to be talking about quite a number of things, and then we are definitely going to be getting to your questions. So first, let me go ahead and bring on our resident keto chieftain here. She's been with me almost from the beginning of all this, and you probably know her from a couple of the other videos that you might have seen and one of our other live streams. So this is Tink. Tink, go ahead and say hi.
Hi. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah,
I put in headphones after I checked my mic, so.
Gotcha. Well, definitely got you here. And I'm also going to bring on Nikki. We do have one other guest that we're waiting for. That's Tamra. She's one of our keto clients. She has some questions and thought that it would be good for us to go over the different aspects of the body composition scale that she uses, well, that I use also, just to kind of go over what numbers are important, what numbers you really want to be paying attention to and stuff like that. But she isn't with us quite yet. But let me go ahead and bring on Nikki, because she was a guest star of ours last month, and she was surprised by a trip, a little mini vacation, and she just wasn't in very good cell coverage. So we're going to bring her in right now. Hey, Nikki.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. And we could hear you just fine too. That is wonderful. Oh, and we got Tamra. Tamra, we are going to go ahead and wait on you for just a little while here. Thank you so much for coming on. I kind of already explained to everybody that we're going to be going over your progress and answering questions about what the scale means, at least the body composition scale that we both use. So Tink, I'm going to go ahead and take you off the screen real quick for just a little bit. I'll bring you back on a little bit later. Thank you for coming on. And, I'll definitely probably bring you on when we get to the Q&A portion of all this. And we'll go from there, all right?
And okay. Hi, Tink's cat.
Yeah, here in a little bit, I'm actually going to be bringing on my new puppy, who is amazing. I love him. Awesomeness. So Nikki, actually, give me just a moment here. I am here with my kids. One of them's knocking on the door real quick. So give me just 2 moments. Nikki, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell everybody a little bit about your journey, how you've gotten here, and how keto's worked for you and all that good stuff. All right.
Sure. Sounds good. Hey, everyone. I'm Nikki, and I have been a person who struggled with my weight for most of my life. I was a plus size teenager. I grew into adulthood and started to have some problems with medical concerns attributed to my weight. And so in 2007, I had gastric bypass, Roux-en-Y, bariatric weight loss surgery. And with that, I lost over 100 pounds. But bariatric surgery is a tool of weight loss, and for me, a healthy living tool. As over the years, I let my habits come back, and I started to eat sugar. I started to eat processed carbs. I started to eat more like flour and things like that. I started to gain weight again, even with my tool of bariatric surgery and smaller portions being part of my life. So I struggled to find something, a way of eating that would help me maintain a weight that physically helps me, feels good for me, and lets me enjoy some wonderful things and be mindful about the food choices that I make. Until I tried Whole30, And that is a really restrictive plan. You pretty much eliminate everything amazing for 30 days and then slowly add them back and figure out which ones cause you problems. And I realized that carbohydrates are the biggest contributor to my feeling awful, to my gaining weight, all of those things. So for my body, keto is a kind of happy path state. And so since starting keto with gusto at the beginning of, let's say beginning of March last year, I have lost about 55 pounds. I fluctuate sometimes between, like 50 pounds and 60 pounds lost, depending on how well I'm doing at maintaining my keto choices, but, pretty darn good, I think. And I definitely have a number of non-scale victories that I like to celebrate too, because for me, those are more important, like being able to, walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes without feeling like I'm dying, or, enjoy a day at the beach and, walk in the sand and not have my knees be in so much pain that that's not fun or easy. So flying on an airplane and being able to get the seatbelt to click. All those things are, things that help my mental state and help me enjoy my life. So that's my summary. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and that's wonderful that you bring that up. It's the non-scale victories that actually have to be the most important, that you really need to focus on. 2 weeks ago, I was down in California with my kids and my family, and I was able to go on every single roller coaster, right? And a couple of years ago, I was booted off one of the roller coasters at Circus because I was too big and they couldn't get the latch down. At that point, I don't care what the scale says. I'm able to ride the roller coaster,
Yeah.
But here's the newest member of my family. This is Finner. Say hi. Say hi.
Got to keep up with those kids and the puppy now.
Right? Yeah. Well, luckily the kids do an okay job of helping. But yeah. So you had actually posted in our Keto Clan group an article about how Jason Momoa, amazing guy, very much in shape, right?
We can say that, sure.
Yeah. But this article is about how he doesn't do keto because he has to have carbohydrates, and I'm putting that up right now. Okay, yeah. His trainer says that he has to have carbohydrates because of the explosive type of workouts that he does, right? And that he has to have that ready energy with the carbohydrates. Now, yes. I mean, yeah, there is definitely something to be said about that. But it's...
Well, and I shared the article because it's funny, because it's written like he can't do keto because it's not good for him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
but then when you read, you're like, I mean, oh, you mean vegetables?
Yeah,
vegetables,
right.
Yes. Okay.
Right down here. He loves red meat, right? And then... He has to use carbs to fuel his workouts, even when he's in a fat loss phase. Yeah, that's okay, especially when you're doing the high intensity training. Getting some extra carbs in you, that's one of the things that our body uses carbs for, and a lot that honestly, there's too many people out there that think that being keto means no carbs at all, and that is absolutely incorrect. It is making sure that the carbs that you're putting in your body are actually the ones that we need and actually the ones that we're going to use, right? And that we're going to use them the right way. and then it goes on to say that, yeah, he's eating broccoli, cauliflower, or kale. Oh, you mean all the stuff that we're supposed to be eating and like required to eat. Although
Right.
I would have loved it if spinach would have been in here, because spinach is fantastic, right? It says that he doesn't eat breads and pastas. He eats fruits. There are a lot of fruits that we could eat as long as we're really super active. Our berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, boysenberries. All those things are absolutely fantastic, right? So yeah, it's funny, and everything that I'm reading in this is pretty much saying that he does actually use a keto diet, just because he's burning so many calories and using so much energy all at once. He burns through all the carbs that he's eating to keep him in ketosis, to keep him in fat loss, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, and I mean, this is from Insider. It's not like Insider is exactly the quintessential medical.
Right.
But yeah, it's very funny how when you're really looking in the media, there's so much like misinformation, and there's so much just misguided information out there about what our lifestyle actually is. I absolutely 130,000% consider myself keto. It's kind of the business that I'm running, right? But because of where I am in my journey, I actually carb cycle every 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks, just because it keeps my body able to use glucose, but I never actually fall out of ketosis. I could eat whatever I want for like 3 days and I'm still in ketosis because my body just burns through all that stuff, and then it kicks right back into using fat when it's out of the carbohydrate energy. That's obviously something that you don't do right away. You need to make sure that your body is fully 100% adapted. And, that's definitely something that, if you were to ever work one-on-one with me, and right now, obviously I'm not talking to you, Nikki, I'm talking to anybody else who might be wanting to try this. If you ever worked with me one-on-one, that's something that we would work towards, and I would definitely guide you along the path of getting you to the point to where you could do carb cyclings. And if you wanted to have pizza with your family that on pizza night, every 3 weeks, you can. So now what I'm going to do is, Nikki, did you have anything else for us right now? Because I could bring you on a little bit later so we could talk about what we were going to talk about last week or last month.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever works.
All right, great. So I want to bring Tamra on, and I'm going to have Tamra go ahead and introduce herself, and I'm going to jump off camera again and get my puppy out of the studio so I can concentrate on everything. So Tamra, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you, Keto Drgn?
I am doing fantastic. I am loving everything that's going on right now. Ups and downs of life always, but the new puppy and just a lot of things are going really well for me, and I'm very happy. But Tamra, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, kind of let everybody know where you are in your journey, what you've been doing, how keto's been working for you, and I will be right back while you're doing that.
Okay, great. So my name is Tamra Benton, and I've been doing keto for a while, but I don't think I was doing it exactly right for me. And that's one thing I like about the Keto Drgn is he is helping me to do it so it works for me. So I am actually 63 years old, and so it's a little tougher sometimes when you're a little older, but since I've started on the Keto Drgn plan, I've lost 3 pounds, but I can definitely tell I've lost inches. I'm going to do my measurements again on the 1st of August just to see, because I've only been super serious and doing the coaching thing with the Keto Drgn since I think July 1st. So it's definitely an eye opener because there's things I thought I could eat that were keto, and they have lowered my ketosis numbers quite drastically. So it's kind of a learning experience. I purchased a scale upon Keto Drgn's recommendation and a breath meter to track, because before I joined Keto Drgn, I never knew if I was in ketosis or not. But I have to tell you this, 2 nights ago, we went to happy hour at Tommy Bahama's, and I had a couple of tacos. It lowered me a whole point, but I was like, woohoo, I'm
still like right. And that is one of those non-scale victories that Nikki was talking about earlier.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You had a couple of tacos. The corn tortillas are full of carbohydrates, right? But your body handled them the way your body's supposed to handle it, right?
It's not like I'll eat them every day, but it was just awesome to know. So I mean, I weighed myself. I didn't weigh this morning. I think it was a couple days ago, and I'm down like 3 pounds. So that's good. But I'm gonna do my measurements on August 1st again, and compare them from the ones from the scale that I took before.
Yeah. And especially with where you are and everything, Tamara, I really don't think you have a whole lot of weight really left to lose. Maybe body fat. Sure.
Yes, body fat.
Yeah. But the thing is as you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, your body mass really probably isn't going to change all that much, and your body mass is what is affected by gravity, and that's what is your weight, right? So if you've lost 3 pounds, but you've lost 5 pounds of body fat and gained 2 pounds of muscle, that's still that's still a net 3 loss, but you've actually lost 5 pounds of body fat, and that's where the scale that you have really comes in. And I'm actually going to pull up, if you're okay with this, I'm going to pull up one of your
Yes, I know what you're going to pull up. Go for it.
All right, cool. Yeah, as soon as I can find it. Hold on, let me search. There's that. Okay. And there we go. All right. There. All right. So you can't really see that all that well. Can I zoom in on this? No. Okay. Hold on. Let me go ahead and download that so I could actually zoom into it. Okay. Oh, nope. There. Clients, Tamara. There we go. Save that. Okay, now. Sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
I know it kind of gets boring when stuff like this happens, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So we got that. All right. Now we should be able to zoom in, and now we should be able to share.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. So
all right.
When I was talking to you, if you can explain all this to everybody, and then I'm going to watch the replay with my stats open so I can understand it too.
Absolutely. All right. So weight, I think everybody knows what weight is, right? We good? Yeah, it's how the Earth's gravity affects the mass that is our body, and that's really all that is. Okay, BMI, body mass index. It's. I was about to cuss. It's bullpucky. Okay, body mass index is basically what they did was they took the height and weight of men and women, and figured out like a number that like it's like 75% of people fit into this mold, right? So statistically speaking, it's horrible, but medically speaking, it's a baseline number that gives doctors and nutritionists an idea, but it's not the do all say all, and it should never be the do all say all. Okay. BMI, I'm 6 foot tall. Okay. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm almost 40 years old.
Such a baby.
According to my BMI, I'm supposed to be about 195 pounds. Okay. I could not be 195 pounds unless I cut off a limb. I have a 24-inch shoulder span, shoulder bone to shoulder bone. My frame is just a lot bigger than a lot of other people. And I'm sure there's some people out there that understand this and feel this. And just like there's some people out there that have much, much smaller frames, but they still have the height, right? I have 170 pounds of just muscle. That's not the rest of my organs and everything else. Okay. So I almost have 190 some odd pounds of just not fat. Okay. So literally for me to get to 195 pounds, I'd have to get down to 0% body fat and it would die. I would die. It would die. It would die. Okay. So your BMI is just one of those things that it's a good starting point. It's somewhere to kind of look at, but then you really need to look at the rest of these numbers to see how accurate it is for you. Okay. So body fat, this is pretty much the one that we always want to be paying attention to. Now, the scales that we use, there's really only one very, very accurate way to get what your body fat percentage is and what your body composition is, and that's a DEXA scan that you have to go to your doctor to get. Okay. These scales, they use infrared technology. They send a very low volt current through your body, and then they use the amount of time that it takes for that current to get back to determine these numbers. Okay. Not the most accurate, but we're not really looking for something or needing something that is super, super accurate. We just need something that is the same thing that we use every time so we could track if it's going up or going down. Okay. Because these scales, I mean, depending on if you're using it after you get out of the shower, how wet the bottom of your feet are, stuff like that, that could throw off the numbers. But as long as it's controlled of an environment as possible, you're using the scale the same time of day, you're making sure that if the first time you use the scale, it was right after the shower, do it right after the shower. If it was the first time you used it was right before a shower, right before a shower. Okay. It's consistency that you need to make sure that the numbers that are going up and down are what we're looking for. Okay. So in this particular case, 23.3% body fat is actually really, really good for you, Tamara, for being a female and being your age and your height. And actually height has nothing to do with it, but your age and your height, that's a good number. Females actually are supposed to have more body fat than males, just because you guys do a lot more, like create life, stuff like that, so your body fat numbers are actually really good. Yes, They could go down, and that's what we're working on. A healthy place for you to probably be at your age is probably 18 to 20%. So we don't have far to go, but also it's going to take some work. And you have done an amazing job here with almost 0.5% lowering. That's awesome. That's definitely the number that we want to make sure is going down. Okay.
Right.
Your fat-free body weight. This is a good one to tell if whether or not that BMI is, good or not. Right. So we could actually look up real quick and let me see what I could find just real quick. Right. Let's go BMI chart. Right. And we got this BMI chart. Come on. All right. So that was saying that your BMI was 27.7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 27. How tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
5'5".
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is saying that you're overweight, right? But you're not. Let me see if this is for men or women. Can't even tell. All right, hold on. Let me find a better one. Here. Come on. There we go. All right. So we got 161. Okay. This doesn't even have 5'5".
Really?
Yeah. No, it's all right. Let's try this one. Okay. So 5'5", 160 pounds. Yeah, 27, which is what it says, right? That also says that 27 is overweight, right? And at 5'5", in order to be in the optimal, right, your BMI should be 23, which means that you should be 140 pounds, okay? So now let's look at this. Your fat-free body weight, that means your body weight without any fat on it at all whatsoever, is 24 pounds, okay? That means they want you to only have 15 pounds of body fat on you, okay? Now, so if we just round that up to 25, right? Your fat-free body weight, 25. So 15. So if you do that percentage real quick, right? We go to the calculator, right? And we go, so 25, so 140, right? 140. And we divide that by 15, okay? That they want you at 9% body fat.
Oh, my.
Okay.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It is. It is. So do you know what women are at 9% body fat? Olympic sprinters.
Olympic swimmers.
Olympic sprinters and Olympic swimmers.
Yeah.
Okay. For men, it's 3%. It's 3 to 5% is like Olympic level athletes, and for women, it's 7 to 9% are Olympic level athletes. So that right there tells me that BMI, you need to just not even pay attention to.
Right.
Okay. So the rest of these numbers are where you really want to be paying attention. Okay. Body fat, fat-free body weight. Now, subcutaneous fat, this is the fat that's right underneath your skin. Okay. This is not nearly as bad as visceral fat. Visceral fat is all the fat that's surrounding your organs. Actually inside you. Okay. Now, in both of these cases, 19.7% and 9, these are good numbers for you. Okay. my numbers are a little bit different. My visceral fat is up, I believe it's 15 now. Okay. And it says that that's in danger zone. And that's something that I've been working on, right? A lot of years of being really, really, really overweight.
Right.
It's not surprising to me, right? I know that my visceral numbers were almost 30, which, of course, before I started doing all this, my doctor had already told me that I was only a couple of weeks away from a stroke or heart attack. So that doesn't surprise me. And in 2 years, getting it down as low as I have, no other way that I could have done that except for using this lifestyle. But yeah, so your subcutaneous fat is the fat right underneath your skin. Your visceral fat is the fat that's actually surrounding your organs. In your case, both good numbers here. Okay. Your body water, that's, how hydrated you are. Skeletal muscle, this is the percent of your, actually, you know what? I'm not even sure what this percent is. Skeletal muscle. It's I'm assuming it's muscle that's attached to your skeleton.
Who knows?
Yeah. But I could bet you that higher is better. But again, yours is in the green. You're good. Okay. Muscle mass. This is an important one to keep in mind, right?
Okay.
In your particular case, it looks like you've lost some muscle mass. Okay. This means we probably need to increase your protein intake, and you need to increase your resistance activity and probably decrease any type of cardio that you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I feel like I'm eating enough, but I don't think I'm eating enough protein. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not hungry all the time, but I don't think when I go to eat, I'm eating a big enough portion of protein.
Yeah. So in this particular case, I would probably say up your protein by about 10 grams at first.
Okay.
Okay. And I know you have your walks that you do in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get some ankle weights.
Okay.
Okay.
For resistance.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
And maybe not walk as far, but just walk with the resistance.
Walk with the resistance band, and while you're walking, bring your knees up higher.
Okay.
Okay. Because we need to be building muscle. Okay. And what happens is, especially with cardio is important. Cardio is incredibly important. Okay. But all cardio does is burn calories. Okay. And it doesn't care where the calories come from. Okay. So if you have burned through your reserve of energy, it's going to start, your body's going to start doing what's called gluconeogenesis, where it's going to convert protein into glucose. Okay. And like what me and Nikki were talking about with the carbohydrates being important for high intensity workouts and like explosive movements and stuff, our bodies burn glucose super fast, right? So if our bodies need energy right now and it doesn't have a ready supply of ketones that our liver has already made and is ready to deliver, it's going to start making glucose. Okay. It's a survival thing. Okay. So less on the cardio. Keep the cardio, obviously. Cardio is good. Okay. But lower the length of the cardio and up the intensity with regard to resistance.
Okay. That makes sense.
Maybe get a couple of dumbbells, and when you're walking, have your dumbbells in your hands, have the ankle weights, and do some high knees while you're walking.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just anything to get your muscles moving more in a non heterogeneous type way. Okay. As soon as you are doing something that it doesn't feel like you're working, it doesn't feel like you're struggling to do it, you need to either do something else or up the weight.
Okay.
Okay. Your body's always looking for homeostasis. Okay. And that's how we build muscle is we put resistance on our muscles. Our muscles change to where it has no problem doing that weight. Right.
Okay.
So we up the weight, the weight. Okay. Because it's always striving to get to a place of normal where it doesn't have to work.
Okay.
Or it doesn't have to work.
What about, because our pool where we live isn't very deep, so I could probably get in there and do high knees, in the water.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're worried about like impact, if you have joint issues, anything like that, doing things in the water and using water as your resistance is fantastic.
Okay.
There are also like belts and things that you could strap to your ankles and on your hands that have virtually no weight until you get them in the water. And then you're trying to move things through the water and it really increases the resistance on your muscles. Okay.
All right.
And that's the big thing. We need to make sure that you're building muscles. So this number right here doesn't keep going down. So we increase your protein. Not a lot, just, 10 grams a day, right? To start, right? And then we're going to keep an eye on this, okay? We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. Bone mass, this is something that you should always be paying attention to, especially as a female. Osteoporosis is always an issue, right? And this actually isn't too bad. Again, like I said, the scale is going to vary, okay? But your calcium intake and your vitamin D intake is going to be important for that. But funny enough, the one item that I tell everybody that's on keto that they need to be eating a whole lot of, and that's spinach, is amazingly high in vitamin D and calcium.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been putting some in my shakes in the morning, like a good handful, packing it in there, so.
Good. That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay.
And this was probably before I started that, so we'll see if it changes next time.
Yeah. Protein. I mean, this just it's measuring how much protein you. Don't really worry too much about this. This BMR is an estimate of how many calories you need to intake to maintain the weight that you're at.
Oh, okay.
This is assuming the whole calories in, calories out thing and assuming that all calories are the same, and they're not, but this is a good target, right?
Right.
As of right now, you are wanting to, lower that number on the scale, even though it's not, it shouldn't be the main focus. It shouldn't be the main driver. It is always nice to see that, right? And the thing is you want to get burning body fat, right? Which means that you need to make sure that you are burning more calories than you are taking in calories, so your body then converts that body fat over to energy. So using this number, using this 1590 right here, right? You could probably figure about 1,200, maybe 1,300 calories a day, right?
Okay.
And then from that, right, you could calculate fat has, just call it 9 calories per gram. Carbohydrates and protein have roughly 3 calories per gram, right? We know we're supposed to be eating more fat than we are protein and carbs put together, with the vast majority of what's left over there is going to be protein, and you're going to be adding an extra 10 grams of protein in here. Okay. That should give us about a good ratio of how much you're needing to eat. Now, I could tell you that 1,200 calories in a day, I'm going to die. I'm pretty sure I could eat that in one bite.
Right.
But I'm very different than you, hence why I've developed this system, right? So just, finding that balance, making sure that you are getting a good amount of dietary fiber. You know, all of the carbs that you're eating should be as close to the dietary fiber goals as possible.
Right.
Get that protein in, and I do recommend red meat, especially for what we're trying to do. Red meat, our bodies use red meat to convert that over to muscle a lot better than the poultry's, the white meat.
Okay.
Also, red meat has more iron in it, which is always good, especially for females. But I mean, obviously, males need iron just as much, but females
Right.
do need iron a little bit more than males do. And yeah, it's. I think that's a good place for us to get going for you. And then obviously this metabolic age, I have no idea how they calculate this, but you're right. You know, that there you go.
I'm pretty close. So
yeah, I mean, it has my metabolic age at like 45 or something, and I'm about to turn 40. So I'm like, okay, I'm whatever.
Oh, good.
You know?
Awesome.
But yeah, so do you have any questions? Anything that you wanted to have answered that I didn't?
No, that was great. I really appreciate you going through that. So,
absolutely.
Actually, dinner was just delivered, so I'm I can smell it, and I'm hungry. So we swam a lot today. We're with friends at Green Valley Casino, so they're staying here. They're from California, so
nice,
I'm gonna exit stage left. Thank you so much for accommodating me. I really appreciate it.
And you know, hopefully we'll be able to get on better track on our weekly meetings.
On our weekly meetings, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
starting this Tuesday.
Yeah, you know, I had something, then you had something, and but you know, everybody here, all three people that are watching us right now, got to see what a meeting's like.
Yeah.
You know, so this is good. Thank you so much for sharing all this, Tamara. I know a lot of the times this stuff can be you know, personal. So thank you for sharing that with the rest of us. All right, you have a great rest of your night.
I will.
All right, bye now. All right, Nikki and Tink, I'm going to bring you both on, okay?
Awesome.
Hi.
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 Well, I was going to say, so what are you having for dinner tonight?
Let's see. Is there a way to turn my camera around? I can show you. It's right here.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I don't know. Here,
no?
I can do this.
Just turn it around. Yeah, there you go.
So I got Taco Thursday going on over here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pretty good.
One of my favorites. Taco whatever day.
And your wrap?
Yep. Lettuce wrap. Let's see. I've got lettuce wrap. I've got shredded cheese, carne asada, and I season the meat myself, so it's not traditional carne asada. It's turmeric, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, a few other things. And then I've got some onions and cilantro, some green tomatillo salsa, some guacamole, and some sour cream.
Nice.
And then under the lettuce here, I actually have a full avocado that I cut up. I don't know why I needed guacamole and avocado. I'm a little addicted.
Because avocado.
Because it was there.
I'm a little bit addicted to the avocados. And I
have to say that's been a glorious discovery of mine living in California now, that avocados are like actually good here.
Yeah, right. It's so hard to go to the store here in Vegas and actually find a good avocado. Like I'm sitting there like, I swear people have to think that I'm, you know, I just came in on you know, yeah, because I'm sitting there literally like picking up an avocado. I squeeze it in this hand, squeeze it in this hand, squeeze it in both hands. Nope. And I pick up the next one.
Right. Nope. Gotta make sure they're good.
My hand, like fondling the avocados.
Yeah, right.
Getting those big bags and like taking the bag of avocados and like fondling each one through the mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it how ripe is it? Because usually what I do is I grab 2 or 3 avocados that I know are ripe, that are going to be good for the next couple of days. And then I grab a bag that's kind of on the fringe of ripe, but not quite. That way when I get rid of, when I get rid of the 2 or 3, then I get to the bag and they're ready.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Nikki, last month, I asked you on because you, especially in the in our Keto Clan group, you tend to post a lot of things that are very like inspirational and really help a lot of our members get past some of the harder things that they're dealing with, right? And I forget exactly what it was that that had me ask you to come on, but
I remember.
Oh, you do? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's actually something that I learned from my recovery program. I didn't share this call. I tried to share in the last one, and I know I've shared in the group. I am a recovering alcoholic. And so through my step work and my meetings, I've learned a number of coping skills for my emotions and things that have transferred over to my mindful eating and doing better with healthy habits. That one was HALT. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Because a lot of times when I want to eat something that isn't the right kind of food for me, it's not because I actually want that food. It's because I'm dealing with these other range of emotions and things that are going on in my world. And so if I stop myself and think through that acronym and make choices, then I do better at sticking to my goal, to my plan, and meeting my goals.
Yeah. And that is, I do remember all this now because I was explaining how how I grew up. I grew up going to Alateen, which was basically the Al-Anon, or the the groups for the children of the alcoholics and the drug addicts, right?
Yeah.
And I was exposed to a lot of the same teachings and a lot of the same philosophies, and going to meetings with my dad and my stepdad, seeing them working the steps. I know the Serenity Prayer. I've known it since I was about 10, and I actually found that there's a lot of crossover in changing this part of our lives, changing to get away from the bad habits that got us into the unhealthy places. Because for most of us, food and these bad habits become an addiction. And while it's not an actual alcohol or drugs that have actual addictive qualities, it's,
I don't know, you could say that about sugar for sure.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, in most cases, alcoholics turn to sugar because their bodies are craving the glucose, or at least the sugar alcohol from all the alcohol that they drink, especially if beer was, or beer or wine, or mixed drinks or something like that. Their bodies crave all that. My stepdad actually has to have chocolate all the time. But I mean, I'm lucky, my dad and my stepdad are both in recovery and have been for over 20 years. But the lessons that I learned in all that, I actually have put in my book. A lot of the stuff is in my book about how to, you have to be kind to yourself. You have to understand that you're going to slip, and just use that as a learning tool and not an excuse to go back to your old habits. Oh, well, I failed. The mental aspect of all of this is so important. And that little mantra that you have of, what was it? Hungry,
angry, lonely, and tired. HALT.
HALT. Yeah. It's brilliant. absolutely brilliant.
Definitely helps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I actually use stuff like that for just dealing with everyday life too. It's like if I'm about to have a negative reaction, which is very, very rare for me anyway. I'm a pretty even keeled, like ridiculously patient guy. So if I'm about to have a negative reaction to something, I'm like, hold up, why?
Did I eat today?
Right. Well, I mean, in my case, most of the time, I hadn't eaten, but that's because I usually only eat once a day if I'm not carb cycling. But yeah, no, it's great. Tink, do you have anything to add to this? Because I know you do a lot of the same thing, where you try to help people understand that it's okay that if this is hard, let's figure out a way to make it less hard.
Oh my gosh, right? I don't know. I know lately my setbacks have been medical. So I'm still eating the way I'm supposed to. I'm still, I'm 30 carbs a day, and I do total carbs, not net carbs, because I really need to work on keeping my carbs down. But I'm also 1 meal a day at this point too. So it's like I'm not even eating 30 carbs, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, a lot of my setbacks recently have been medical. Apparently I am growing things in places that are not supposed to be growing things. And it's not cancer. I'm just putting that out there. It's not cancer, but
good. Thank you for clarifying that, because I was getting like anxiety over here.
I don't know how much medical stuff you want me to get into.
As much as you're comfortable. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
it's just as much as you're comfortable.
Gotcha. So I have uterine fibroids, which means that there are a bunch of really nasty like
gross
sacks of growth stuff all within my uterus. Recently I found out that one of them probably weighs about 10 pounds. Yeah, it's huge.
So let's just get in there and cut it off, and that's 10 pounds.
Right. It doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah,
I wish it did.
I understand that.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would just take the whole thing out and I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. I also have some ovarian cysts that are causing some major issues. So they're causing issues with my, I'm actually gaining weight there, which is making the scale not look like it's going down the way it should. It actually went up this last month because of those, because I'm kind of in a stall pattern. And then, so all that stuff's going on. So, and then my
see half your face.
circumference is not going, sorry, my measurements are not going down either, because all that stuff affects where my stomach is. So I'll talk about all the time how, my legs are getting thinner and my arms are getting thinner, and I'm noticing, I don't have the double chin anymore. But my waist area does not shrink. And that's because I have all those issues in that waist area that are just exponentially growing at this point. They have to get to a certain point before the doctors can yank them out. And they're not there yet. So, but yeah, I just, there's all sorts of other reasons. You guys were talking about all the BMI stuff earlier. You said something about skeletal muscles. So, organs are muscles. Most of your organs are muscles. So that's why they say skeletal muscles. It's the muscles that are attached to your skeleton. You were right about that. Because your heart is a muscle, your lungs are a muscle, your intestines are a muscle. But when they're talking about the muscle that they're measuring the stuff that's attached to your bones that makes you walk, that makes you move, that makes you, move around. I also like to remind people muscle mass is heavier than fat.
Yes.
And another thing, I had to remind my best friend of this today. I am not fat. I am not, like, me as a person, I am not fat. I have fat.
Yes.
And I think when you make that that transition from saying I am fat to I have fat, it makes you less likely to hate your fat, or to hate the fat that is on your body. I think it's very important that no matter what size you're at, you love yourself, even if you don't like the way you look, even if you don't like the way that you even if you don't like the fat that you have, it's important to still like yourself, because you're not going to be able to succeed in any diet, keto, paleo, pescatarian. You're not going to be able to succeed doing anything if you don't like yourself, because no matter what,
anything, just anything.
Yeah. No matter,
general.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right, because no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough if you don't like yourself when you start. So I don't like my fat. I hate my fat. My fat is uncomfortable. My fat weighs me down and not just, with my weight, but it weighs me down as a person. I just feel like it's pulling everything down. So I don't like it, which is why I'm trying to get rid of it. But even more than that, my medical issues mean that I'm not ever going to be at whatever the heck my BMI is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I am a 5'2" tiny little woman, but I have broad shoulders, I have huge hips, and I have no thyroid, which means I don't have the hormones that regulate certain things that get rid of fat. I have more, there's like brown fat and white fat, and I have more brown fat than most women my age, for whatever reason.
Brown fat's the good fat.
Yeah, but it's harder to lose.
Yeah, but so
you're not going to have excess brown fat, Jade.
Yeah, but the thing is, no, see, what I'm saying is when you have brown fat, right, your brown fat actually helps facilitate losing the white fat. So you having more brown fat as of right now is a good thing. It's going to help you lose the white fat that you have, and then we'll work on the brown fat.
I love you. I'm not sure if there's any white fat left. I think that's all gone. I think that was that 30 pounds I sloughed off.
Oh,
now
yeah,
I'm
maybe.
I can also say that, our bodies are different when we have been, of a size to where you can lose 100 pounds, right? Because I weighed 300 pounds at one point in my life. So trying to get down to 150 pounds, which is puts me in that BMI normal range, is going to require surgery. And I've had some already. They removed 10 pounds of excess skin from my stomach a while back, years back.
Yeah.
That, and there's lots more. So, you take 10, 15 more pounds of excess skin off, and I'm super close to that, right? But that's just because our bodies have changed from having that much excess weight on us at one time. Those BMI scales, and they're ridiculous, and I wish they would throw them out the window.
Yeah, just like they need to throw the food pyramid out the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, turn it upside down.
Yeah, I mean, keep the sugar at the at the top, right, and just turn the rest of it upside down is perfect. Yeah. But yeah, the last time I was at the dermatologist, they measured everything, and I have 20 pounds of just extra skin on me. Yeah, I mean, between my thighs, my stomach, under my arms, and my chest, 20 pounds of extra skin.
Yeah, it's really weird when you're walking around and you can grab huge swaths of your skin and just move them.
Yeah.
It is the weirdest thing in the world. I'm at in between my thighs at the moment. I could just grab skin, and I can tell there's no
skin.
Fat there. There's no. It's just this giant And it doesn't even look like it's that loose until I grab it. And then it's like,
Mhm.
wow.
So something for everybody out there, and as you two also, but a solid and regimented supply of collagen over the course of a couple of years can start bringing the elasticity back to your skin, and it can start, tightening up in those areas. It's something that I've been trying. It's something that, I don't want to have to go under the knife to get the extra skin taken care of. I will if I have to, but I've been doing a lot of research on how to actually tighten up skin. And it's something that I'm planning on doing a video on at some point after I test it on myself. So it's probably going to be a long time, because it's not an overnight thing. It definitely, like, it's over the course of a year or 2 years. Like after a year, you might actually start seeing some results, but to actually get to the point to where it doesn't look like you were ever overweight, it's like 2 years.
The collagen, the water, there's lots of like skin firming creams and stuff like that that can all help. And building muscle underneath of that will help too.
Yeah, because you're actually just filling up that space with muscle.
Right. But at some point, you can't put on enough muscle to, bring back the belly that you had, right?
Well, yeah, especially in places like your abdomen, where those muscles are not, they're just simply a different kind of muscle. Your core muscle, they're not muscles that get bigger as they get stronger. Right. They just don't. And you would just end up looking like you have a pot belly anyway.
Right.
Who
wants that?
Yeah.
That's not what they're going for.
But yeah,
ability right there.
So, I mean, at this point, unless anybody else wants to bring anything up, I am going to let Nikki go. I know you have some things that you need to get going and doing. Tink, I want to keep you on here. Oh, dinner! There you go. That's awesome. So, as of the rest of the people that are still on here, if you have any questions, please feel free to bring them into the comments of wherever you're watching this live stream from. If you are on Facebook, you do have to allow Facebook access to StreamYard, and there should be a link in the description of the post that you got this from to be able to do that, and then I'll be able to see who you are when you're posting. But yeah, absolutely. Any questions that you have, go ahead and post them now. We'll wait just a few minutes. Nikki, thank you so very much for coming on again, and thank you for all the help that you give us all in the Keto Drgn. I'm sorry, the Keto Clan group, and I definitely look forward to talking to you again.
I'm glad to be here. I appreciate that you started the group. I think it's a great space for people like us, and so I'm glad to be part of it. Thank you for having me. See you all later.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a wonderful night and enjoy your dinner.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to bring Tink back on. I think she accidentally logged out. But
I didn't do it. It was my phone.
Oh,
apparently, okay. I can't answer a Facebook message while I'm doing this.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've had quite a few. Everybody out there, if you've been hearing dings and different crazy sounds, I use my phone for my webcam. I mean, my phone takes 4K video. You can tell this is a pretty good stream here, right? It's so much better than spending $200 on a webcam. There's some really good webcams out there, but my phone still does better. But that also means that every time I get a notification, and I get a lot of them, I'm part of a lot of different things. You all get to hear it. Yeah. So, looks like we have 3 people still on. I don't know if that counts me and Tink. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free to post them, or on my Facebook page, also in the Keto Drgn page, on the Keto Drgn page, there is a link that you could actually join us here on this live stream, and I could bring you up using your camera, and you could actually ask your question live in person if you want. Go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and wait just a little while here, and if we have any questions come up, we'll answer them, and if not, we will adjourn until next month. So I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner yet.
Did you want to address Gabby's question?
Yeah, I could absolutely do that with everybody here. Yeah, sure. So, Gabby, first off, Gabby, if you're still with us, if you're still on, thank you so much for always coming on and watching my live streams here. I definitely super appreciate that. Your question here, still keto if I eat 30 grams of net carbs, but my total carbs come out to about 50 grams. And the answer is, it depends. Like all of my answers always are. Okay. It depends on whether or not the fiber that you're eating, that you're taking away from your total carbs to get your net carb.
Still here.
Your mic's still on, but your camera isn't. All right, there we go.
I noticed that my camera was a little gross. Everything was really
fuzzy.
So I turned my camera off so that I could clean it.
Gotcha. That works. All right, but yeah.
I don't think you guys want to see me clean my camera with my shirt.
All right, so Gabby, it really depends, right? There's a lot of different kinds of fiber out there. I mean, obviously there is your soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and then there is what I call laboratory fiber. Okay, these are science experiments. These are things like enriched wheat flour and modified cornstarch and stuff like that, where some scientists in the laboratory, they go out and they, genetically modify or just scientifically, chemically modify this stuff to where your body doesn't break it down or isn't supposed to break it down into glucose, right? You'll find in the enriched wheat flour or modified wheat flour in a lot of the keto breads, right? And it's really going to depend on how your body handles these things, okay? Me personally, sucralose, I could have as much sucralose as I want, okay? And it's not going to adjust. It's not going to affect my ketones. It's not going to affect my my blood sugar. It's not going to spike my my glucose. But Tink, she has to stay away from sucralose. Her body actually does convert that into glucose, right? So
right.
The simple answer here is yes, as long as the food that you're eating, that you're taking the fiber away, is from a natural, real food source. Okay. The less simple answer is possibly yes, depending on how your body is handling the fiber that you're eating, especially if it's a laboratory fiber.
That's good.
Yes.
I also honestly, typically if you're staying in ketosis, if your carb level is enough that you're staying in ketosis, I'm super, super specific about the carbs I eat, which is why mine are so low. All of my carbs come from green leafy vegetables. I have cut out tomatoes. I have cut out carrots. I have cut out all fruit. I haven't had fruit in 6 months. So I have cut out everything that's not a green leafy vegetable or cucumbers or avocados. Those are the only things really that I eat. So, I've got my collard greens and my romaine lettuce and my spinach and my broccoli. I don't eat green beans. Trying to think. Some cauliflower, it really depends on how it's prepared. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And cauliflower actually has a lot more carbs in it that are not fiber than you would really think. So you really have to be careful with the cauliflower anyway, even though it's a cruciferous. I don't know how you even pronounce that, but yeah, actually, I've got it right here, right? Yeah, cruciferous. Yeah, cruciferous vegetable, right? So it is good, and cauliflower actually has a lot of soluble fiber in it, which is good, right? Yeah, there's a lot of carbs in that stuff that isn't fibrous, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's really going to depend on, where those carbs are coming from. And honestly, the idea of counting carbs, like I don't count carbs. I don't count anything really. I just know the things that I could eat that keeps me in ketosis. And I know the stuff that I could eat that keeps me feeling good, right? I know that if I want to push real hard to get to a particular goal, or if I really want to push through a plateau, I know the things that I eat to get a lot more strict and get my body going and really ramped up and doing what I need to do. And, I make sure that I increase my activity levels and everything. It really is all about what your body needs, what your body wants, what your body does with what you're eating. So, Tink has found what works for her. I've found what works for me. I'm always experimenting more just so I have more information so I could share that with all of you guys. But yeah, it's what?
Olives and artichokes.
Oh, olives and artichokes.
Good.
Yes.
Olives are really good with the fiber and the fat, and artichokes are really good with the fiber and the fat as well.
Yeah.
Love a good artichoke heart. Just like fry them up and just eat them off the thing. It's really gross when I eat them, but they're good.
Yeah. So seaweed wraps are actually really good to eat. You've got super veggies, which are, your spinach, your artichoke, your kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. And those are super vegetables just because of the extra vitamins and minerals and other chemical compounds that are in them. So cauliflower is definitely something that you should have. But again, everything is in small quantities. It's not small quantities, just monitored quantities. Make sure that you're not eating so much cauliflower that you are actually kicking yourself out of ketosis because you're just giving yourself too much glucose or carbohydrates, right? Yeah. So our next question here is from my Aunt Teresa. Hi, Aunt Teresa. She is in California, and she's always with us. Thank you so much for always being with us on these live streams and watching all my videos. I do appreciate the familial support. So what kind of meter do I use, and where can I get it? Well,
I'm going to put on the
there you go.
Facebook link.
$20.
I've got a one that's slightly different, but it was the same price. But mine has different numbers than his. I like his better. Mine is annoying and doesn't always work right.
So the thing is that there are a few different kinds of meters, okay, and they will work. Okay, they're going to range anywhere from $20 to $150. Okay, this one right here is actually the one that I want. It actually connects to your phone and will track everything, but again, it's $150. There's a reason why I don't have it yet. I don't have enough clients that
There you go. Blame the people that aren't paying
for my services yet. But so I mean, any meter is going to work. I do like the breath meters. Breath meters are just a lot easier. They do end up being less expensive, like this $150 one, right? that's a one-time $150, right? Where if you get the blood meters, yeah, they might be slightly more accurate, but you're having to constantly buy strips, just like if you're having to buy strips for your glucose tester. Okay. So I use this one, the $20 one, right? There's a few other ones here. One thing that you have to pay attention to is each meter is going to be slightly different. Why are you making that face? You realize you're still on camera, right?
Yeah, sorry. The monsoon hit my house and my street's flooded again.
Oh, all right. Oh yeah,
it's been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's about to start raining here too. But
sorry,
anyway,
that's totally not keto meter appropriate talk. But
no, it's hey, this is the glory of live streaming, right? But so what Tink was saying is my meter actually measures the acetone in your breath in parts per million. So it actually gives you a raw number of how many parts of acetone are in your breath per million total parts. Okay. Now, Tink's meter actually measures, all of them take in and measure the parts per million, but Tink's actually converts that parts per million into the more acceptable millimoles per milliliter, which is actually a measure of, it's supposed to be a measurement of how much beta hydroxybutyrate is in your blood when you test your blood for ketones. But that millimoles per milliliter is kind of the standard. So a lot of these breath meters will convert the parts per million over to millimoles per milliliter. Now, I prefer to see the parts per million. It's a more accurate, more real number, especially since millimoles per milliliter is a measurement of something in a liquid, and obviously your breath is not a liquid. But yeah, that's just something to consider when you do get one of these, because it doesn't matter which one you get, you need to pay attention to the instructions. Also, something else when it comes to these instructions is there's always going to be the CYA, the cover your ass for the manufacturer that says, if your reading is this high, that means that you are in ketoacidosis and you need to seek medical attention right away. No. If you're not a type 1 diabetic, you don't have to worry about it. If you're not a type 2 diabetic that has absolutely zero function of your pancreas, you don't have to worry about it. If you're actually keeping your ketones, or if you're keeping your carbohydrate intake low enough, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ketoacidosis is a very, very specific medical condition where your glucose is super high and your ketones are super high. If you are in a position where you have to worry about ketoacidosis and truly worry about it, as in you're a very specific type 2 diabetic with almost no pancreatic function, or you are a type 1 diabetic, it's always a good idea to have your glucose meter, and you're probably testing your glucose all the time anyway. You definitely need to worry about ketoacidosis if your glucose is high and your ketones is high. Other than that, don't stress if your ketones get above 5 and your meter instructions say that, oh no, that's too high. If your glucose is down low, and again, with your glucose, when you're in ketosis, when you're not eating a whole lot of carbohydrates, it's not uncommon for your glucose to be in the 70s. My glucose is in the 70s all the time. But again, if you're diabetic, especially if you're type 1, if you're diabetic and have a very specific type 2, almost no function of your pancreas, worry about that. But unless that's you, don't worry about that. Okay, we have another question here. I had pancakes served that is sweetened with sucralose and sorbitol. And Ace K. Ace K is something that you definitely want to stay away from. Ace K is just super inflammatory. Ace K is something that will actually keep your body from converting fat into ketones. Ace K is absolutely horrible.
And that's just a shortened version of the aspartame potassium.
Yes.
Just so that, because some people, I don't know if everybody can see or read what those words are, but that's what that is.
Yeah, yeah. Aspartame potassium. Ace K. And it's K because potassium, the atomic symbol for potassium is K, right? So Ace K, right? Throw that away. Throw it away.
Not good.
Yeah, throw it away. Okay. Now, the sucralose, the sorbitol.
That's again, your body, your decision kind of thing.
Exactly. The sorbitol, I'm not a fan of sorbitol just in general because most people can't. Their bodies will still convert it. I think sorbitol actually still has a glycemic index of about 40, which is half of sugar, right? Sucralose actually has a GI index or a glycemic index of 0. But again, like in your body, Tink, it causes issues. Sorbitol will cause issues for a lot of people, but Ace K, just throw it away. Yeah. Don't ever buy it again. Give it to somebody else.
I will say this. If you find yourself having issues with the sorbitol, definitely talk to your doctor. It is one of the indicators of thyroid issues, but it could also be just your body doesn't like it. But definitely talk to somebody because one of the things that the thyroid, that's one of the hormone things the thyroid does, and that sorbitol not being able to do that is part of the thyroid issue. It could also mean that you just don't process it properly or it just doesn't digest well in your stomach, but there is a small potential that it is a thyroid thing. I'm always telling people, if you have any big questions about your body, talk to a doctor, talk to a nutritionist, talk to a professional who knows what they're talking about. Again, you don't want to go to a doctor that just sees you as a lump of fat and tells you need to lose weight. But if you find the right doctors willing to talk to you about the right things, doing the right tests, like I said, I have alphabet soup for genetics. So I have, the thyroid condition and the SSD and the or SDD and the ADD and the everything and that you can think of. There's an acronym for it. I might have it. The fibromyalgia, all of these things that I have that cause issues. Some of them were things that had I known how to eat properly when I was younger, they may not have been as badly affected me. But yeah, that sorbitol one, if you find that it's something that you can't handle, it could there is a slight chance that it could be a thyroid issue. I would just have your doctor check it out. It's a test that, with insurance usually costs maybe $5. It's not, a big test to get your thyroid checked.
Yeah,
it's a blood test. They test. If they're going to test for your sugars and your cholesterol anyway, ask them to throw in your thyroid. You never know. That could be a big deal. For me, my thyroid issues started when I went through puberty and my thyroid literally died. I didn't know until after my kids were all born that I had, that I no longer had a functioning thyroid. It had shriveled up into a little teeny tiny black piece of nothing and just died. So definitely get things like that checked out. It could be an issue. It could also be a non-issue. That sorbitol thing was a big one. It gives me migraines. See, I actually turn off my camera. He just like disappears. I love that whole, let's see. Oh, here we go. So I don't know if I can't change to show the new comment. But Hustle Daily has asked what is the best way to target the stomach area.
Hey everybody, so sorry about that. The monsoon that just hit Vegas just knocked out my internet for a little while. Thank you everybody so much for being patient with me and staying on while I was getting all that figured out. So let me finish kind of resetting everything here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start moving on. I'm going to send Tink a message real quick and just see if she is still available to come on and help us out. All right. So Gabby, I hope that helped answer your question there. We are going to go ahead and move on to Hustle Daily. This is actually my brother. Hey, Yanni. what a crack-a-lackin'. It's something that we said when I was real young.
Oh my God. What's crack-a-lackin', dude?
Right. No, like it was crazy. Like every time we saw each other or got on the phone, it was like, what a crack-a-lackin', who is here? Right? No, it was crazy, right? But the best way to target your stomach area. Okay, so it really depends on how the fat is accumulating around your gut. Okay, for men, every time that we eat something that isn't actually, well, I know you did that. We did that. Okay, so he actually just sorry. He just put up that he actually coined that before the movie did, right? And I do remember that we used to say that well before that movie came out, but yeah. But anyway, so with men specifically, every time we eat something that our body does not consider food, whether that be artificial sweeteners or the things that they call American cheese, the processed cheese food stuff, right? That stuff is not food, okay? And our liver has a couple of functions, right? Our liver processes nutrients. Our liver stores and processes energy. It's all part of the nutrients thing. And our liver is our filter, okay? So what our liver does when it gets this stuff that isn't food, it sees it as a toxin, okay? And what our body does with toxins is it encapsulates it in fat, usually visceral fat, the stuff that gets stored around your organs, and it stores it there to keep it away from the rest of your body so it doesn't get you sick, right? And it's protecting itself, okay? So honestly, especially if the vast majority of your weight is in your stomach, you need to eat clean. Not necessarily maybe or organic, like everything organic, but definitely making sure that you're only eating like real whole food is definitely going to help. Okay. Also, excess carbohydrates, excess wheat, excess grains, things like that. That's all inflammatory, right? And your body doesn't process it all that well. All the extra stuff that comes along with the wheat and grain and corn and rice, stuff like that, that has to go somewhere, right? Not all of it is nutrients and not all of it is glucose just to be burnt for energy. Okay. Also, if you're on a primarily carbohydrate diet, like the American Standard Diet, you're probably eating way more energy than you're actually storing or than you're actually using. So now it has to store. And in men, most of the time, it's going to store that in your gut first. Okay. So, I mean, there's some exercises and stuff like that, right? But primarily it's diet. And yeah, Nutter Butters, John, come on. he said, so no more Nutter Butters, huh? Yes. No more Nutter Butters, Yanni. Yeah. So now for women, a lot of the times their problem areas are their hips and their butt, right? And the reason why is because that's where your body stores the fat that's encapsulating those toxins in those. Okay. So it's the thing is the less laboratory stuff you put in your face, the better, just in general, right? If it came out of a laboratory, if it had to come out of the laboratory somewhere, you're better off not eating it. Now, can we 100% stay away from that stuff? Of course not, right? Just be mindful. And a lot of the times, small changes can make a big difference. Tink, do you have anything to add to this?
I target belly fat. I wish I knew how to target belly fat. So far, it's come off everywhere but my belly. But like, if that's the only place where you're storing fat, then just about anything you do to lose weight is going to come off there. You definitely have those men where you look at them and you, like they call it a beer belly, that big belly that's just hanging out there. Everything else looks rather normal, but they got that big old belly. That's generally because that's where they're storing it all, not necessarily they're not working out that spot. So anytime you work out, it's going to take some of that fat away. Anytime you work out, it's going to take something away. And if the only place to take it away from is your belly, you're gonna get it off your belly. Same with the diet. If you work the diet properly and you're not eating those carbs, then the only place for you to lose weight is your stomach. That's where you're gonna lose weight. I have noticed you did say something about hips and ass, but I will tell you one of the first places women lose weight is underneath, like right underneath their breast area. And this is really important, especially for women, because what we'll think is, oh my God, my boobs are getting bigger. Because you're not actually losing any of the fat in your breasts. You're just losing that weight from underneath where the band area is on your bra. So like I've gone up a cup size since I started keto, but I've also gone down 3 band sizes. So it's not that I'm not losing the weight, it's just not coming off the actual breast tissue area. It's coming off in other places underneath the breast area. I've also noticed there's a much bigger slope from underneath my breast to the belly where it's not coming off. So for women, it's the other thing you're going to find when you start losing weight is that everything will start to sag. If you're not already doing a collagen regimen or a skin tightening regimen from years ago that you started, I have friends that, always thought that that was what women did. So they've been doing the collagen thing for years. You're going to find, look at this, my neck. I never used to have these huge ass wrinkles on my neck. Sorry, I cursed. I should not have done that. These huge wrinkles on my neck. That's because I've lost so much weight here that the skin is now sagging around my neck. The same thing goes, I say I have BDE, and you can look that up. It is what I'm talking about. But when I stand a certain way in the mirror, it looks like I'm really well hung. Mm-hmm. Really well hung. And that's all that sagging that's happening because women, and I've been doing a lot of reading on this, women's bodies tend to have much more elastin and much less collagen. So the collagen is what firms us up. It's why when you look at a gentleman with a beer belly, he's got this really nice tight beer belly. But when you look at a woman who's got fat, she jiggles. It's because we have a lot more elastin and a lot less collagen. And that's because we are built, or our body chemistry is built in such a way that we're supposed to be able to expand quickly in order to breed, in order to have those babies. Our skin is actually different as far as those levels of collagen and elastin.
Yes, and John, yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why so much of the makeup products and everything, especially right now, are touting that they're collagen based, right? And yeah,
or Maybelline, they have all these collagen rich. It'll literally say with collagen right there on the face mask or whatever, because they want you to buy it because that added collagen is supposed to help firm everything up without you having to go to a plastic surgeon so that you look like this.
Yeah, right. Now, here's the thing. Collagen does absorb through the skin, but collagen actually works 100 times better. That's not an actual statistic. That's just, me using hyperbole. When it's ingested.
Yep.
Okay. So
Collagen.
using a collagen supplement, even if you're just dumping it in water and drinking that water, it's going to work a lot better than a localized topological.
Yeah, topological. That's the right word.
I used the right word. All right. So we do have another question here from Gabby. Does it matter if I'm in ketosis, if I want to lose fat and reverse my insulin resistance while I'm on keto, eating 30 grams of net carbs every day? Yes. Okay. Because the thing is the goal of eating the way we eat is to get into ketosis. Ketosis is the metabolic state where we are using fat for energy, or ketones for energy, from the fat that we eat and we have stored. Okay. Now, the insulin, reversing the insulin resistance, just by being low carb, that can help reverse the insulin resistance. But if you're eating low carb, but you're still not in ketosis, where is your body getting its energy from? Okay. You're starving your body from energy. Okay. So the low carb, and I actually have a video on this, the low carb versus keto, right? You can't go low carb and low fat. Okay. You have to have energy from somewhere. Okay. That's like, I'm going to run my fuel-based car, but I'm not going to put gas in it, and I'm not going to put diesel in it. Or I have a hybrid, and I'm not going to charge the battery, and I'm not going to put gas in it. Okay. Our bodies are hybrids. Okay. We use two different fuel sources. We use ketones and we use glucose. Two totally different reasons. I happen to believe that our bodies prefer to be primarily ketone driven, with glucose being there for very specific reasons, instead of the other way around like everybody else thinks. But that's just me. I've just lost 110 pounds using this and gotten my life back. Who am I? The goal of this, Gabby, is to be in ketosis, right? And I know me and you have spoken before, and you don't measure your ketone level. You need to. Okay. You need $20. Okay. I just showed you. I'll bring it up again. Okay. $20.
I'm not sure, but I think it's a little, it might be a little more Canadian, because I think the conversion rate actually is a little more, because I think you said something about Gabby being Canadian.
No. That's
somebody else.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Gabby's in Georgia or one of the southern states. Am I right, Gabby? If you're still on, go ahead and comment and let us know where you're from. Alabama, somewhere. I seem to remember that you're in one of the southern states.
And then, but I do know one of your followers is Canadian.
Yes.
Most things are $1 or $2 more Canadian, but I'm sure if you live in Canada, you're used to that.
Yeah, you're used to that.
You see the US $5.99, Canada $7.99, and you're just like, this is BS, man. But it's a conversion thing. It's technically it's the same weight of gold. It's just converted differently. But yeah, it's not more than, I think, 25 Canadian, but it's still really good. And the
I mean, I paid $40
really
for
nice.
this.
Oh, yours was 40?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I only got the $20.
Yeah, no, it's the same one. So, but the thing is, for this meter, I would have paid $20 more. I mean, it has been such an invaluable part of my journey and learning how to do all this stuff. pretty much my entire system is based off of the ability to measure your ketones and seeing what is going on with your body, you know. Oh, you're in Indiana. Thank you, Gabby, for letting us know that. But yeah, so that's the thing. You know, it is that important to be in ketosis when you're doing this. It is that important to be able to measure your ketone levels. Real quick, I do want to let everybody know that it is storming pretty good over here, and a bunch of people around this area have lost power completely, so we might cut out again. But besides that, you know, if anybody else has any questions, anything else that you want to talk about, hear me and Tink talk about, go ahead and shoot them in the comments section here. Real quick, I do want to you know, do a quick no, not guild. Nope. Just a real quick, you know, there's my book, Obligatory Self Representation, or whatever it is that, yeah. So it looks like Tink just got kicked out. She probably lost internet too. But you know, while I'm waiting for any more, you know, while I'm waiting for any more questions, if you're part of Kindle Unlimited, you could read my book for free, please. If you're part of Kindle Unlimited, even if you just, you know, I mean, if you download it and just flip through all the pages, you'd be helping me out. But I mean, I do happen to think that there's some pretty good information in there. It's a really short read. You know, if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, it is only $10, and it gives you a good, solid base of how I did what I did for me and how I'm helping others do what I'm doing for them. It really is it's a custom tailored system that if you follow the instructions, you're going to be able to find out how this is going to work for you the best. All right, Gabby, thank you so much for joining us again. You have a wonderful evening. Gabby just said bye to me in the comments here. And you know what? At this point, you know, just one more call out for any other questions. See if there's anything else going on here. All right, and just so everybody knows here, I am actually going to be donating a free one-on-one keto session to the Las Vegas Ladies of Leather. They're having a auction to help raise money, so that's something that I'm going to be doing for them. It'll just be a one-on-one personalized session where we go over everything and get people started on this amazing journey that has, you know, helped me take my life back and given me a second chance with my kids and the other people in my life that I care greatly about. Real quick, I do want to let you know that I do have a Patreon account. It is Keto Drgn. This is where you can help support me and help support my page here. Help me keep doing this. I mean, $3 a month, and you could help support me, and you get some cool stuff. $9 a month, you actually get early access to my videos. And then if you did want to do some one-on-one coaching with me, it's $100 a month right there through Patreon. And, you know, you could have weekly updates with me where I work with you directly. Okay. Other than that, you know, if you're viewing me here on YouTube, go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe down there. Thank you, Yanni, for letting me know that I did a good job here. I've done a few of these, but it is always an interesting thing trying to make sure that I keep everything interesting, especially with things like rainstorms going on, right? But yeah, with that being said, everybody, I do want to say thank you so very much for joining me and being part of this journey with me. And as always, keto on.